Hello, Voltron fans, and welcome to the very first AFTERBUZZ TV Voltron Legendary Defender After Show. We are covering episode number 1, The Rise of Voltron. And team, it's time to form Voltron.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I would just like to let everyone know I regret literally nothing.
Perfect.
Yes,
I
regret.
the lights were sort of pink, so it was like, oh no, now it's red. Okay,
Okay.
so
There we go.
There we go.
Nothing about starting with that. Let's be real. Opening catchphrase. You guys, we're covering Voltron and it's glorious. We're so happy to be here.
I'm like pretty excited about this, like not gonna lie.
I mean,
this is for weeks.
This is the crew that you assemble when you want to talk about giant robots.
Right.
Obviously.
I mean, this is also, I mean, the thing is too about like this show is that like it's Voltron, but it's like Avatar, but Voltron.
Thank you. I already know who my sock is, that's why I'm wearing blue.
Yeah, let's be real. And I'm lead host, so there's a reason. Yeah, guys, we're color-coded. So let's talk about the wonderful people on the panel with us. We have the Red Lion, Emma Fyffe.
Yes, that's me, Emma Fyffe. I can be found all over the internet wherever Emma Fyffes are sold at Emma Fyffe, which is my name.
Blue Lion, Alexis Torres.
And it's because I'm the prettiest. I'm just kidding. You can find me all over social media at atorres890. That's actually not true.
I'm really glad we're sitting next to each other.
Oh my God, do I have to separate you children? Green Lion, Megan Salinas.
Hey, I'm gonna have to get a pair of glasses like Pidge.
Yeah,
I know, you
I think
really
I have
do.
some, but
I
I
was
don't
like-
have the lenses.
Yeah.
So.
Could you bring me some? Next time.
Twitter.
Yeah, there we go.
Twitter.
Oh, I'm the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm just so excited to talk about the show. Let's talk about the show when we're all done.
And I am Black Lion Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. And God help me, I'm running this band of teenage misfits.
Yes. I mean, I feel like that's like pretty accurate for like how Shiro it relates to all of the characters on the show anyway, because like they really
Children.
are all like obnoxious teenagers, and Shiro's like kind of got his act together. So
Kinda.
We got,
Smidge.
there was someone
Yeah.
at Comic-Con who actually got age confirmation. They asked during the panel, and then they took video when they went to the signing afterwards. Paige is 14, Shiro's 25, and all the other three are kind of late teens in the middle
they're
there.
like they're like obscurely 16 to 18.
And what's killing me is that, okay, Shiro's 25. That means he was on the Kerberos mission when he was 24, and they probably left when he was 23. When did he graduate? Did he become an officer like right away?
Yeah.
How does
promptly.
this work?
Listen, he was a very, very talented pilot. Okay, like most of these characters are walking anime stereotypes, so like it's
Well,
fine.
yeah,
So
we
true.
might as
Oh.
but at least it's not Naruto where everyone's 11.
Oh,
That's
but
true. I will agree with that.
Shiro is like, he is a walking anime stereotype. He's like the amalgamation of so many anime.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got a scar, he's got
He's got the
amnesia.
hair. He's got the
He's
hair.
robot arms.
He's got the
white He went full anime within the first 10 minutes of
It
the
was
series, and it
beautiful,
was
though.
glorious.
I was
It's
fine with it.
Yeah, because like that's I love how you can just tell that's the leader because you're like hair chance.
Yeah.
And that guy.
Well, I mean, after all, you know, it is, of course, inspired by the original Voltron series, which was sort of an amalgamation of a couple different anime series, both Go Lion and the other one, which I'm totally drawing a blank on the name of right now, but don't worry, I have it up.
There were 3, were there not?
Yeah, so it was Beast King Go Lion and also Armored Fleet Didoga 15 in Roman numerals. Also Future Robot Dalnatius. Basically, and
What happened to 1 through 14?
Yeah, I don't know.
There was like
I don't know. And the
Because
thing
we
is,
like to license things and then stitch them together.
I was gonna
and
say, they
release
went
them
full
for the
Robotech.
kids.
I mean,
on that.
it is.
Yeah.
It was full Robotech on that.
It
I mean,
was.
it was very much like Power Rangers, where they draw from various Super Sentai series. Like, so for example,
Yeah.
Power Rangers in Space, the Super Sentai series that they took from for that series, they were not in space. So Power Rangers in Space went, oops.
There was another one. I can't remember which Power Rangers it was. It was the one with basically the robot apocalypse.
Yeah.
The really
Oh,
dark
yeah.
and gritty one that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Was the Sentai and the Zord footage was taken from like the kid friendliest. The Zords have these big eyes and
Yep.
they talk.
Like, it has
The
like
Zord-
literal googly eyes.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
poor producer just kind of lost his mind
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
saw that.
But,
that's Power Rangers, and we're talking
It's true.
about Voltron.
But,
I mean,
which is,
it's
but I
kind of
mean,
the same.
Same idea.
which is very closely related. However,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember as a kid when I did start watching Power Rangers, thinking to myself, because I'd already seen Voltron at that point, and I was like, this is like Voltron, but it's kind of not as cool because like they're not in space; they're just regular teenagers.
I saw it the the other way around. I saw Power Rangers first, and then I saw Voltron.
Yeah,
so
I'm on the same boat
starting
with
to watch
Megan.
Voltron, I'm like, this is a lot like Power
Power
Rangers.
And
Only
I
instead
never-
of dinosaurs, it's lions.
And I never saw Voltron, and I was not allowed to watch Power Rangers when I was a kid, so I would definitely sneak over to my, not sneak over to my friend's house, but I'd go to my friend's house across the street, and we'd watch it, because her parents would let her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but the first season of
I was
Voltron,
5.
I know. I
is
did the same thing.
the first season of Voltron is very heavily based on Beast King Go Lion, which of course has all the different like lion robots that come together and form what we all know as Voltron. When they got the footage, they basically licensed the footage for these multiple series and sort of mashed them together in a way that the American producers thought made sense because they didn't they didn't have a translation
Oh my.
of the story.
You're
No, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. So they literally went, we're just gonna make up my own story based on what we're watching.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
Well,
80s anime
I
was
would love
great.
to see their faces trying to figure that out.
And not only that, I actually, for my first one-on-one interview, I talked to Stephanie Shea, and she was telling me a story about like how she was talking to one of the original voice actors from Voltron.
Yeah.
And apparently, you know, one of the reasons why older anime gets made fun of for having really bad dubbing was because a lot of times they didn't have the beat system that we have now. You know, they couldn't just go back if they didn't do a good job the first time. It was usually one take and then like, okay,
One and done, God help you.
And also, and on top of that, like they had not yet perfected the art of ADR, which we have, you know, nowadays. Yeah. So as you say, Megan, like they didn't have the ADR beeps in place. And on top of that, the people that were writing the ADR scripts were not necessarily watching the thing as they were writing the ADR script for it.
God
so they
help
just
you
like
for lip
wrote a
flaps.
script. And so the people who were then trying to dub it were just like furiously trying to keep up with the lip flaps. So that's why like in Speed Racer you have things like, I will defeat you in this race.
Oh my god, I need to watch Speed Racer all over again.
I know, right?
Oh my god. But
Okay, so we should actually
bring it
talk
back,
about
yes.
Voltron.
Bring it
And
back.
things I forgot to say because I was just so excited to get started. We have the live chat up. We have a hashtag. It is ABTV Voltron. God bless Hassan Yousaf. He made us a GIF and put it in the hashtag.
I know, we already have great stuff in the
You
hashtag.
guys are wonderful
so
human
excited.
beings. So yeah, if you've got something to say, throw it in the live chat, throw it in the hashtag. You may well get a shout out. We don't have any iTunes reviews to read because
not yet.
this is the first podcast, but you know,
Yeah,
when it
hey,
goes up, like,
hey.
comment, subscribe, rate us 5 stars so we can keep talking about giant lion robots because we really like doing that. And we've only been doing it for like 10 minutes.
has it only been that long? I feel like we've been here for 2 hours.
I know, right?
I know. It's great.
Oh,
Time flies.
there's
like
so
the
much
lions.
good stuff to talk about
So
in this
let's-
pilot, though.
Let's get it because the pilot is longer than our after show is going
I
to be.
know.
The pilot is 3 episodes long. It's an hour and 8 minutes.
I
It's
know.
literally 3 22-minute episodes.
Well, and the thing for me that I really loved about this pilot was it felt very much to me like the first, because like with Star Wars Rebels, for example, they for the past couple of seasons have led in with like a movie, quote unquote, and that's
Yeah.
very much what this felt like.
Oh yeah. Most series do that. I mean, I keep going back to Transformers Prime, but 5-part opener.
Yes.
A good
Like, for
chunk
real.
of series.
I don't want to derail too much, but I decided to start rewatching Transformers Prime from the beginning because
it hurt
apparently
your
I
heart?
don't care about my feelings.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah,
would
because
you do
Transformers
that to
Prime
yourself?
doesn't care about my feelings. So.
No, they actively try to murder them.
Need those heartstrings. Speaking of, and we're gonna talk spoilers for this. We've all seen the whole series.
We have.
Because
Yes, we
we
have.
have no impulse control, and
Nope,
we
no
definitely
self-control.
watched it before
None
we
of it.
pitched this after show. What we're going to do is we can talk about things, but we are not going to spoil beyond what we're talking about. So there's definitely spoilers lurking out there in the ether for the rest of the series, but we're just talking about the pilot. However, we may point out things that, knowing what happens in the rest of the series, we notice a heck of a lot more in the pilot. Like,
Yes.
Pidge will not shut the hell up about the rest of the crew of the
would she-
Kerberos
why would
mission.
she do
Like,
that?
Fixated.
I agree with you though, because I remember watching the pilot for the first time around, and I already was starting to like clue in about Pidge a little bit.
yeah, like
I
so
think everyone figured it out in episode
pretty fast,
2.
yeah. However, rewatching it now knowing exactly what's going on with Pidge, I was like, oh yeah, he really won't shut up about
Spoilers
it.
much. And what I love is that you can see the exact moment where it clicks for Shiro.
Exactly.
It was beautiful.
And it's such a great, because we, like, the faces of Pidge's family are very obscured by the helmets from the opening. So by the time we get towards the end of the episode where Pidge says, it's my brother, it's my father, you know, I have to find them, it's like, oh, that makes so much sense.
No, it totally does.
Yeah. No, my realization was from the picture. I was like, huh. Interesting.
We'll talk about that more next week.
But I'll go from there.
That's next week's spoiler to talk about. But yeah, no, I just Shiro's my favorite character, not gonna lie. Let's be completely real.
Yeah, I knew that as soon as I was watching. I'm like, Katie's favorite.
Do we hit some of my Agent Washington buttons really badly?
Do we want to go around the table and say our favorite?
Go for it.
Shameless.
Listen, my favorite is Keith. And you have to understand the reasoning. It is because I, as a young teenager, sort of 14, I think, was when Gundam Wing was airing on Toonami, and Hiroyui was my favorite.
Oh my god!
Everything makes sense now.
Doesn't it make sense?
Guys,
any of you who have never listened to Love and Justice, where I'm very open about this kind of stuff, you're going to see a very different side of Emma as we just Voltron after show.
Well, and a fun thing, I do a lot of research. The Tumblr has been pulling up all the character bios that are available on the site, all that fun stuff. Keith's an orphan. And as far as just from the way he talks to people, I'm pretty sure he doesn't actually know how to people.
Yeah.
That he's very, very bad at. I mean, okay, I'm bonding with you. And just you made fun of me for that.
But you know,
like, he doesn't know how to people.
But he's real good. But he's real good at pilot.
He is. He can't.
Girl.
And the thing I want to know: how do he and Shiro know each other?
I don't know.
Are they related? Are they boyfriends? Do they know each other?
I was going to say,
Obviously, they know each other.
They obviously know each other. It is very clear to me that, like, Keith is madly in love with Shiro. I don't know if Shiro, like, reciprocates those feelings, but
I don't think so.
I feel like Shiro is kind of the only person that made life worth living for Keith, whether that's romantic or familial or whatever. And then it's like, and now he's gone.
I thought we were somewhere completely different with that, but I will just not say what I was thinking.
Shiro,
AfterBuzz, After Dark.
Shiro definitely, like, it's just in his personality to be like that nurturing figure. So, like, he probably came across Keith and was just like, you need a mentor. Like, whether that was a conscious thought, or just something that felt right.
Well, so he became Alec Baldwin from 30 Rock. He was like, hello, Liz Lemon. I mean, Keith, you need to have a mentor. Like,
And I've noticed this again watching the pilot for the 6th time. At this point, it has to be. I really like the pilot. We keep getting a lot of this with Shiro and Keith, just like hand on the shoulder all the time.
Very reassuring.
NDT TV clips is like, yeah, we shipping. I'm like, we should probably wait for that.
Half the fandom ships Keith, half the other ships Sheet, half the other half ships Clance.
Yeah.
And then a few people are like, let's just go with Schlance. And I'm like, that is the worst ship name.
No,
It's too close. It's too close.
I'm into it.
I don't like it.
God bless. I'm
Alexis,
so happy.
who's your favorite?
Oh, well, hold on. I have a tie. Like, I literally cannot pick between the two of them. Lance, of course, because he's my Sokka.
No, I love Lance too, specifically because of the Sokka
thing.
correlation.
But definitely Allura. I think that she's just a fantabulous alien being.
Not human being.
She's a fantabulous lady.
Lady being.
Here's the thing too about Allura or Princess Fala in Go Lion is that you have to understand that this, for me as a little girl watching Voltron, this is a scenario of, so Go Lion came out on Japanese TV in 1981. In 1981, there was a series wherein they had all of these male characters and they killed one of them off and replaced him with the princess.
Within 6 episodes.
Yes!
There are modern characters who die earlier who lasted longer than Sven. Sven. Which is what he
Good
got
old
dubbed
Sven.
as. Which is why everyone's kind of looking at Shiro in this series and going, guys.
He's a dead man.
Yeah.
He's a dead
But
man.
in
I think all of us at the table have already gotten to that point.
Like,
But
it's
in the
a
dub
clock
series-
winding down.
Yeah.
But in the dub series, Keith was in the Black Lion,
Yeah.
and Sven piloted the Blue Lion, and so they just
We're all
kind
kind of
of
jumbled.
rotated it out.
Yeah, which is really weird why their uniforms didn't match. It makes me very happy in this series that their uniforms
uniforms match.
actually match
Yeah.
up.
Thank
because
God you're
that
color
always
coded. I'm
bothered me.
American and I don't
like,
get
deep
it.
down, I wanted Allura, if she didn't actually know which lion to put them, she's like, okay, Shiro's wearing black. You get the black lion. Bitch, you're wearing green.
Yeah, actually, in the hashtag on Twitter, hang on, let me open it up here. Let's see, it was
Spencer Harris?
yeah,
Yeah.
at Omega Ruby Knight said that the scene where Allura was telling them which lion they were going to pilot reminded him of Zordon.
Yeah. No,
Where it's like, you
In Mighty
just
Morphin.
met them. You
The
just
thing
met
is,
them.
she's seen them interact and talk with each other for like, what, 5-10 minutes? And that's enough for Pidge to do the, oh, that's how that works, looking at the
Yeah, yeah.
computer system, and just enough to kind of watch them and go, okay, this is how this works.
Yeah.
And not to mention, they mentioned that her life force is connected to the
Yes.
to the lions somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know how
I
her
don't know how
father managed that.
there's something happening.
They become something
But-
greater than science can explain. Then how did you make them?
Magic. Magic, damn you. But
Magic, I don't have to explain it.
But if her life force is connected to the lions, then maybe she can sort of intuitively sense who matches up
I mean,
with
if
who.
she can open
Yeah.
up wormholes in space,
Yeah, and I mean,
And the
she, like-
quintessence had to match the lines.
Exactly,
They said
and
that.
she's like connected to the castle and like psychically knows where all the lions are. So I don't know, it checks out for me.
yeah.
But it works. I'm still just laughing at, and how did we build these?
Yeah. Hashtag space science.
yes. But like top of my
Lion
list
science.
that I look forward to every episode that airs is Koran, guys.
Oh my God, I love Koran
Remember
so
that?
much.
I love that. I don't know if it was a picture or a gift that I sent when we started the show.
Yes.
Was for in the name of the lions. I was like, yeah.
And the thing with Koran is like, he has an actual honest to God personality. He's Space Nigel Thornberry, yes.
Exactly.
Which
But he cares. There's depth to him. There's nuance. It's not just like, lol, he's funny, make the kids laugh. Like,
No.
he's a goober, but
But
there's reasons for
he
him.
definitely has the funniest lines in
he
the
does.
pilot.
Oh my God.
Your little
Yeah.
brain, you're firing its synapses.
Look at
It's
your
little
little
brain cage.
synapses firing in their brain cage.
So
I wrote
funny.
that down. Where is it?
But yeah, like, and granted, I'm gonna cite the American dub of the original series, but which I have not watched in a long time, so forgive my memory if it's really spotty. But I just kind of remembered him as. Most of them, I don't remember their actual personalities.
Yeah.
I remember Keith's personality. I remember Sven's accent, the princess's personality, and I remember Koran's mustache. And
Yeah.
that's all there was to it.
Playing with it
Because-
the entire time. of the
Because
pilot.
like the princess was so great, she was
Yeah.
so great. A lot of people in the chat are actually talking about how they're like mad at the portrayal of Keith in this series, which I disagree. Again, Megan, my memory might be kind of spotty, but I feel like Keith was a little more two-dimensional hero in the
He was.
original series, and I like that he's like socially inept and like
Yeah, again, personality.
Yeah.
There's
I
a personality.
adore this terrifying awkward human being.
Yeah.
He's just again, Keith's lines are some
I'm
of my favorites.
bonding with you.
I'm bonding
No.
with you. I am your paladin. Like, you really don't
Now,
understand how the people
I
do.
understand being a little put off by something being different than your nostalgia.
Yeah,
sure, completely.
But especially because again, Shiro is the current
know,
leader.
I
But
know.
but you have to sort of take
Steven,
these things in
talk about the
stride
actor.
Yeah.
and kind of have
Keith.
faith in the creators that they know what they are doing and that there's a reason for the kind of shifts that we're seeing.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it. And like I said, it drove me crazy that their colors didn't match up with their lions. So in my color
Yeah.
coordination,
Yeah.
desire for color coordination, I'm okay with it.
We grew up on Power Rangers. If the
Yeah.
colors
Like,
don't match, it screws
It's
you.
wrong.
It just messes with my head.
does.
I'm like, come on, guys.
Like, and I'm sorry, which one are you piloting? The black line, but you're wearing red. What? Get
I'm
out!
sorry, that just doesn't check out for me.
Megan,
can't do this.
who's your favorite?
I gotta say, my favorite when I was a kid was definitely the princess.
Oh, yeah.
I like that whole princess and like the prince sort of storyline that caught my attention, to say the least. But in this series, and maybe it's just because I have him branded as a dead man, but I really do like Shiro. I definitely find him very interesting.
But I love it because yes. But I also love the fact that like Shiro, he can't, even though he's supposed to be like the super serious character, he has these times where he's just like, wait, what? Like just out of nowhere. Especially when Corian was just like, oh, the 2 planets you guys are going to, it's very nice if you guys get stuck there forever.
I know.
It'll be a great place to live.
Which, by the way, that like giant sloth creature that Pidge and Shiro encountered when they were like going to get the Green Lion was straight out of the spirit world.
Yeah. I was like, and even just those little weird Pikachu caterpillar bennies, like, come on.
But that just part where they both see him and Pidge freaks out and clambers over Shiro. There's a post on Tumblr, and I'll reblog it again because it's a wonderful thing, where someone grabbed the stills from it so you can see how that goes down.
Shut up,
Is
Pidge.
that serious?
Oh my god.
Like spider monkeying him up? Like, what?
Yeah. Frame by frame, and it's the
God.
funniest thing.
I think that's the one thing, not to get like too far off from our favorite characters. Everybody's loved The Last Airbender and the Korra animation, but for some odd reason, their facial expressions in Voltron is just awesome.
They went
Yeah,
a
they're
little more
very
a little bit more
good.
detailed.
They did. They embraced the anime inspiration a little bit more because it is, of course,
An anime.
based on what was an anime series, and you know the creators behind Voltron have gone on record as saying that like they did not actually rewatch the old series. They just like were like, oh, we remember Voltron was awesome, so we're gonna make what we thought it was.
Make the series
They
as
might have
awesome
written it.
as you remember, because when you go back and rewatch it 90% of the time,
They probably went to Wiki to like check some names,
Yeah,
and then that
plot
was it.
points, yeah.
And that was when they decided they were like, we want to have this like serious hero character, and everyone associates him with a bad like. What even was Sven supposed to be? Like,
Norwegian?
Norwegian accent? Yeah, so they.
let's just pull the rug
Yeah.
out from under literally everyone.
Well, and it's
Let's
so
do
funny,
that.
and not to get too off track, but
Right.
like
We've never been on track.
because in the original series they killed him off but brought him back, and in the original anime they brought him back by bringing in his twin brother,
Yes.
which is the thing
anime
that
does that.
which is the thing that anime does for some reason.
There was a Gundam series recently about 10 years ago that
So recently, Katie.
Yeah, that was like yesterday.
recently. It was when we were in college.
yeah, a decade ago. But
It's more recent than some other Gundam series. Let's be
Which
real.
did the
Wing
same
was
thing.
95.
did this, but
Already
that
referenced on
particular
the show.
that particular Gundam series did the exact same thing. But in the oddly enough, this is one of those instances where American translation actually made more sense than what happened in the original Japanese, because they couldn't just kill somebody, so they carted him off to a hospital.
And he was in a hospital for like 3 seasons.
It just reminded me of
nearly
watching
died.
like, an anime version of Days of Our Lives. It was great.
It totally is.
I am your twin brother.
But yeah,
Down.
no, yeah, I liked though that like for Sven they renamed him Shiro in a like an homage,
As an homage,
to Takashi Shirogane, which was the character that became.
Oh yes,
Well,
right.
that's his name
Good
in
old
this
Sven.
too.
Yeah.
He just goes by Shiro.
Can we? I know you probably want to talk a little bit about why Shiro's your favorite, but can we?
Everyone knows why Shiro's my favorite. He hits all of my wash buttons. You go.
Can we talk about how wonderfully diverse this cast is?
Yes!
Because the princess she's a person of color, so is most of the paladins actually. And even the people behind the scenes are like, for the voice actors, are people of color, which is fantastic.
It's super cool.
Yeah, no, that's like the one thing where I'm like, I don't have much money. I will figure out a way to become Princess Allura and cosplay. I don't know how I will do it, but I will make it
And
happen.
I like too that like to me it made more sense like the way that Karan and Princess Allura look in this show, that because like they just looked like white people in the original series.
Yeah, and I love that she has like white hair now.
Yeah, no, it's freaking awesome. I mean, obviously, like, part of me like loving that character so much as a kid was that it was like, oh, like she's a girl and she pilots one of the robots and she's blonde and I'm blonde, but like I don't feel sad to like see her not look like me anymore. Like, I
see,
still
now
love her
it's-
as a character.
But now it's my turn.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I'm like, I've never felt
And
that way.
for any little girls watching this version of the series, that's great. And for anybody in the know, looking at her color scheme, it's pink and blue.
Yeah.
As like a wonderful send up to the old
right,
show.
and foreshadowing
Oh,
as to
yeah.
what might happen in the
Oh,
future.
yeah.
And I'm just loving that she kicks ass and takes names.
She totally does.
It's
Yeah,
great.
I mean, that's the thing is, like, even
Things
though
we'll talk about further down
And
the
I mean,
line.
and the thing
but
is too,
nonetheless.
it's like even in the original series, like even before she was the pilot of the Blue Lion, like she still was like a strong political figure, and like she's that like times 20 in this series, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah. Occasionally she would solve problems by
Yeah.
being a diplomat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I do want to point out before we move into talking about the episode that I just feel like you all need to know this because I just discovered this myself. In Go Lion, freaking who we all know as Pidge is voiced by Masako Nozawa, who's Goku. Oh my god!
I didn't know
I
that.
just felt like you all needed to know that. So
That's
Holy
awesome.
Dragon Balls, that's awesome.
That is glorious. Okay,
is
so
fantastic.
we should actually talk about the episode and
Yeah.
somehow fit 60 some odd minutes, 68
We can do it.
minutes of episode
Yeah, we
can
into
totally do it.
30
I mean,
some odd minutes
I was
of
like, we've talked
camera.
a lot about like the character
Different stuff.
personalities, which is very much what this episode establishes.
Also, there is love for Hunk, even though we didn't say
I
it.
know.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I feel bad. None of us are wearing yellow, but
But we
since
need-
there are
we
only
yellow
have so many
accents in our
people.
studio,
Yeah.
You know what,
that's okay.
too?
The
Yeah,
lights
Hunk is
and
represented by these
everywhere.
microphones.
Yellow everywhere.
Well,
Right
And
here.
here's the thing. I feel like with these episodes, it took me 5 episodes to like Lance. He was all of the shonen protagonist stuff that I hated in this episode, and none of the ones I liked. He was 3 steps away from being Kirito, and I was done. Yeah, that close. And then we hit like episodes 4 and 5, and I'm like, oh, this is better. You have depth in the same way that Hunk's defining characteristic in this pilot, sadly enough, is motion sickness. And then when the pilot's over, it's gone. They just decided that it was not a good part of the series, and they dropped it. And thank God, because we didn't need that.
I will say that I love this series and I love this pilot. I think it's one of the, it's a really fantastic
strong.
introduction
Yeah.
to the
Good.
series.
Yeah.
But like, there's some dumb, gross out humor I don't
Yeah.
need. I'm like, well,
I
that's
agree.
pandering to
No,
the
there's
young boy.
there's
The
definitely some
vomiting.
little boy
We didn't need
Oh yeah, the fart
humor
jokes,
in
the
it.
barf jokes, like it's all in
But
there.
I
Yeah.
like what that doesn't stick around.
No,
That
it
is-
thank
doesn't.
God.
It doesn't.
It's just an introductory.
This
Yeah,
series
it
would have
fades
been
out very
harder to watch if
quickly.
it had.
I'm not gonna lie though, guys. That fart joke though was pretty funny.
It was
Let's
actually
just
pretty
be
funny.
honest.
Yeah.
I was just because I'm a Lance fan. That's the only reason.
Well,
why.
and I love that for Hunk we have. I'm sorry, you've been trying to say something for forever.
No, I was
Go.
just gonna say that Playful Panthers in the chat says that the princess is not in the original series isn't as badass as we remember her, but like who caars? That's the way we remember her, and that's what they're trying to portray in the show.
I
That's how
reject your
this
reality and
series got
substitute my own.
made.
and you also have to remember too that like this series came on TV in a time where like the women characters didn't often get all that much to do. So the fact that like she got to pilot a lion at all was like a giant
huge deal.
giant step forward.
Let
Yeah.
alone within the first 10 episodes,
I
because it
know.
was like, we don't need you anymore. But
Bye,
what I love
Felicia.
about this, there's a lot of subtlety in the character portrayals.
is.
Again, you kind of pick up in bits and pieces that Keith is really not good at people, and I
Yeah.
just love Hunk being smart.
Yes,
Hunk
thank
is
you.
so
They
smart.
don't
I love
emphasize it at all, but when Lance drops him off to go get the yellow lion, he's muttering and being sarcastic, and he's also hot wiring
Right.
alien technology he's never seen before,
and-
like it's nothing.
And also when he takes Pidge's stuff out of his backpack
Yeah.
and reading through the journal
Yeah.
and explaining everything, I was like, okay, so he's not the dumb.
Yeah,
always wants
he
to stuff his
made an
face. He's a
alien
character.
Geiger counter in a cave with a box of scraps.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
real.
He can rattle off techno babble with the rest of them.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
And
love
he was
that.
the engineer in their group,
Yep.
so
Yeah, he
I mean,
absolutely
besides
is.
puking into a box.
And I mean, and
I'm glad
and,
they got rid of that. Just,
Yep.
oh.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And he also like I don't know, like for me, Hunk is such a he's such a smart character, and he's also like kind of the voice of reason of the group. When she told
Which
me
he made that aware.
I hate to be the voice of reason, always.
yeah,
But something that we don't which is interesting because we get this as a description of his character trait as somebody being very kind. but that's not something we see a ton of right here.
Okay.
Because his defining characteristics, even though he's smart, he's the bigger guy who's always hungry, who's always throwing up, and who is always the one to want to run away from the fight. So, like, when she rattled off kindness, it's like, have we seen him be kind
I
yet?
had to rewind it, and I was like, wait, I don't remember any of that. But yeah,
We see it later. We see it later.
They also released the profile, like the Voltron official site has fun little profiles and everything. And when Lance interrupts and talks about like the best looking pilot, etc., no,
What?
the Blue Lion is friendly and the most accepting of new pilots. Lance is on easy mode.
Yeah, hence why it's my favorite.
And Blue's just looking at there going, I want that one.
Just like, you're first in line, sure. Hop on in.
I was the same way as a kid. I'm like, I want that one. It's first.
But this is the thing too that I actually did kind of appreciate is because we're basically set up at the very beginning of the episode with like a Kobayashi Maru situation where they're in like a simulator and they're failing it terribly, and then
Not even a Kobayashi Maru, they're just inept.
that's true.
I was gonna say, I don't feel like this was a no-win scenario. I feel like they could have won it very easily.
I feel like it was a no-win scenario because of the combination of personalities in there at that given time.
I completely agree.
Because we know that Pidge didn't care about being part of the team.
Right.
Hunk went along with Lance, and Lance is useless.
He's got an
It
inferiority
took me
complex.
5 episodes to
No,
like
it's true.
him.
It's true.
But what I was going to say is that, I liked then that we got to see Lance be the first person to get his lion. And so, you walk into this scenario where they discover the blue lion in the cave, and all of a sudden Lance is in this position to sort of be taken seriously by the viewer, even though the rest of the team is like, what's going on with you?
With you at the helm, terrified.
And then it was. We saw how they were flying.
And it's very validating for him because I think they said in like I don't know if it's the official website, but because Keith scrubbed out, he invented
Oh my gosh.
this rivalry between the two of them because he was constantly told you're only here because somebody else flunked out.
I think that was just headcanon that we were discussing at
no,
one point.
I thought you said like they actually mentioned it on the website, but whatever.
that I
Even-
don't remember.
That they mentioned that Keith flunked out, and that's why Lance was...
No, that like he
invented
invented
that
this
in his head.
rivalry in his
Yeah.
head.
Oh, I
But
think
you
he
can-
invented that rivalry for
you can
sure.
also you can also just kind of pull it from the episode too because Keith doesn't even recognize him
Are
at
you
first.
a mechanic? Oh,
Yeah.
you're a
Oh, I
cargo
remember you.
pilot.
So when they meet up with Shiro and Lance is the one that's chosen to be this particular pilot, like that has to be really validating for
Yeah,
him as like
yeah.
some actual like sense of self-worth to
Yeah.
back up the big talk that
Well,
he's
and
always
on top
spewing.
of that too, it's like this is sort of concurrently happening with when most of them make their first connection with Shiro. And previously, Lance has been like, "Oh my God, like Shiro's my hero," and then Shiro,
He's a legend.
yeah,
He's this, he's
and
that.
then
Like, he's
and
got
then
a
Shiro's
reputation.
basically so like cool with him, basically being like, "Yo, what's up? You're Lance, right? I'm Shiro." And he's
Let me
like,
shake your
And I
hand
love
with my
that
robot
moment
hand.
of just stopping and staring at
Yeah.
the prosthetic. Like, this is not awkward.
Nope.
But something I do want to point out, just because it was something that struck me as kind of odd the first time I watched it, and every subsequent time we've watched the pilot, I am still very confused by it. They're all meant to be paladins. This is all their, magical science destiny. Why was Keith the only one to sense the lion's presence until they were all super close to it?
I think it was because he was living in the little hobo shack in the middle of nowhere.
Was it just proximity then?
I
or-
think so.
I think so, but I think there is also something because based on sort of our knowledge of the previous series, Keith in the original series is the pilot of the Black Lion. He's kind of the leader, blah blah blah. So I think that there is something about like he's just, and again it goes back to what Katie was saying about like Keith doesn't know how to people, he only knows how to pilot, and so I think he is just a little more in tune with like the universe and his destiny.
Well,
Wow.
he
And being
also said
alone,
that-
like he didn't have any, I guess,
Distractions.
familial
Yeah.
distractions.
exactly.
Well, he also said that when he was kicked out of the garrison, he was pretty lost. And
Yeah.
again, I'm hanging out a lot in fandom, and we kind of put together, okay, if Shiro's the one he cares about, they're blaming Shiro for the failure of the mission, calling it pilot error. And if that's, I just lost the only person that I care about, and now you're blaming it on him, that disciplinary, he probably went after someone.
Yeah.
Because our introduction to Keith is setting off explosions, flying in, and doing his little ninja act. So I want to see that turtleneck come back up again at some point in the future. I want it because
I loved
it's
that.
so funny.
When Keith was like ninjaing in
Yes!
to rescue Shiro, it was great.
But I mean, the garrison was probably his home. Shiro was the person he cared about, and all of a sudden he has nothing. So
Yeah.
he's probably a lot more receptive to what's going on around him because what else does he have to concentrate on?
Yeah, that's fair.
And everyone else at the garrison is there for a reason.
And I figured that because the red lion was the toughest lion, that maybe there was just something that you had to connect with on a different level for him, maybe.
I'm
Except for-
bonding with you.
Exactly.
You have to earn it, and there's just something innate in him.
Yeah, I think there was
You
just
have
something
to do
that
something
you-
gloriously stupid.
Yeah, pretty much, which is him literally being floated out
I
into
don't know
space.
why I thought my arm could withstand the vacuum of space.
He was doing okay until he got whacked with a metal cube. I don't know what that was. It was just a random debris.
Spark. I was just kidding. We were like, hey, we're better. Go.
Other giant robot show.
Oh,
That
Lord.
we also cover.
Okay, we're
but yes.
kind of jumping all over the place here. I'm assuming everyone's seen it. Are there any particular moments that anyone wants to hit on? And there are a hell of a lot of them in here, but are there any
Yeah.
particular ones that we really want to bring up?
I mean,
I'm looking through all of my caps lock notes to see what I've got here.
I mean, that scene where they all go, where they like first discover that like Shiro is in that sort of like military medical facility or whatever, and they are blaming him for like the failure of the mission, and Pidge, Lance, and Hunk are all like trying to come up with a plan. They're like, all right, we're like gonna go in there and save him, and then like Keith just shows up on like his hover bike.
the carvings told him that something would be coming
Yeah.
on that day. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that is super convenient.
Yeah, and Lance just getting like so mad about it, basically being like, "Ah, damn it, it's Keith! I hate that guy."
The guy's the worst.
They're just like, who's Keith? Just tagging along. It was super cute.
So funny.
Yeah, and also when they then like had the escape plan where they all got on the bike and they're like,
That
"Yeah,
scene was
Do you mind
awesome.
if we hitch a ride with you?" And they're like, "Is this gonna support all of us?" And Keith is like, "No. Maybe we can unload some unnecessary weight."
But I also like that he was able to use it like, hey, big man, lean left.
Yeah.
He's
Like,
a
that
good
whole
pilot.
scene was
What
great.
got me on that scene was Pidge going, why do I have to hold this guy? And I'm like, you have the tiniest human being holding one of the biggest human beings. Why? Who came up with this?
Who's got robot parts in him? That can't be light.
Robot
Yeah,
gotta
parts.
be
He's
super
probably on
heavy.
some
Yeah.
form of alien steroids. Let's be real.
No,
I
for
mean,
real.
they did some stuff to Shiro.
No, I mean, going back to the scene of him when they were escaping and his hand started to glow, I was like, this is not going to end.
No, or even when he starts having these PTSD flashbacks,
Oh.
that
Oh.
shot of Zarkon's eyes.
he had pupils in that shot.
This
It
guy
was weird.
came face to face with the freaking Emperor of Evil.
Yeah,
Like,
straight up.
That's-
No, thank you.
that's terrifying.
There's a
But
going theory that there is some form of tracker in his robot arm.
That's what I'm thinking.
Given
straight up.
evidence that we get later on in the series, which again we're gonna have a lot of theory and recap and
Yeah,
fun stuff to
totally.
do with the last
Yeah,
episode.
because I mean, a lot of people were asking in the chat who had missed like the beginning of the episode whether or not we had mentioned that we'd seen all of the episodes. We have all seen all of the
Yes, yes,
episodes.
we
We're just trying our best
To keep
individually
things
to not really
spoiler-free,
spoil
yeah.
the future for anybody that may be watching
episode to episode.
Yeah.
Which we appreciate if you do. keep
Yeah,
that
which
up,
is
too.
because
You
it's
have
really
great
easy to just
self-control.
binge this
Which
series.
we all kind of did.
you
Like, to be
have
honest.
great self-control if you're waiting for us to watch these episodes, because guys, we did it in what, 2-3 sittings? Just done. Good night.
Yeah.
See,
long.
I was the one that was a little bit more disciplined because I was in 2 jobs. But like, I was able to watch it within a couple weeks and actually
Yeah.
enjoy every episode. But like, oh, I wanted to just keep watching and not sleep so bad.
And then it was over, and it was the worst.
Oh no, I want more episodes so bad. My favorite stuff from the season so far, or not season, sorry, the episode. Pilot, excuse me, is I love just seeing them all working together, even before they even formed Voltron. But I love when they were in the Blue Lion for the first time together, and
Oh my
Lance
God.
is like, here we go, and just kind of goes and they're just screaming.
I know.
Their heads up. Well, okay, only Hunk and Pidge are screaming. I love how Keith and Shiro are just kind of like.
There are no passenger seats in this lion.
Oh god, it was just so funny.
That is absolutely the weirdest thing I have said today.
Go
go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
you can really see, like, the fact that they don't even have to speak. You can see their personalities within, like I was talking before with the animation, with their faces. It was awesome.
And speaking of the animation, I really, normally, especially in anime series, the integration of CGI with traditional 2D animation drives me crazy.
Yeah, I
It was
agree.
not jarring. It
No.
was very
No, they did a very nice job.
Everything was seamless. Everything looked really, it came together so wow. And, you know, and not only that, but I know.
I was thinking of,
It came together.
so wow.
I was thinking of Hunk when he, like, rams into Keith. He's like, come on!
That didn't work. But not only the animation, but the music. Like
so good.
maybe it's just because I'm missing Tron Uprising so much lately, but like the music in here sounded like music from Tron Uprising, and it made me very, very happy. And you said the soundtrack's available?
I think it's on iTunes.
Oh, I
mean, yeah,
need
you
it.
probably
I need
can
it
find
in
it.
my life.
I need it in my life. Yeah.
Yeah, even though we all know, because we're all big, Last Airbender, fans and stuff like that just, I love how we can take really serious stuff, but also throw in a lot of comedy and make it lighthearted. And
Yeah, my favorite joke's not going to show up for another 7 or 8
I know,
episodes.
but I love that I can
yeah.
find a favorite scene of mine where I could just be like how we're doing right now, where we're talking about something totally different and something just pops in my brain. I'm just like,
I'm bonding with you.
And I think that that is the thing that made this series like so compelling and gave it such a strong start is that it does very much have that like Last Airbender feel about it. A little more Last Airbender than Korra. I feel like this is aimed at more of a Last Airbender aged audience, whereas Korra was definitely aimed at an older audience.
Yes.
But that is one of the things is that like it is ultimately it's such a like complex and kind of dark and ultimately touching story, but the humor is there and it's so on point that even in those you go through all these really dark moments and like it is a very serious story. The entire world is being destroyed by the Galra. Like it is just the entire universe,
galaxy, universe, whatever.
Yeah, like the universe
everything
is going to expire.
It's an empire, guys.
Emperor of the known universe.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Dang.
And like it's so funny because I remember the old series being awesome, but I don't ever remember laughing, and I laughed a lot watching this particular episode, even though not all of the humor was my favorite. One little character bit that I really liked from Hunk is he asked for permission to panic at one point.
Can I panic now?
Continue
'Cause
to
I'm
ask for
panicking.
permission.
Yeah.
I love the bit where they finally form Voltron and they're all like, how is this working? And this is the point where it's like, okay, yeah, Shiro is definitely 25. How are we doing this? I don't know, but we're going to run with it.
Yeah, no, I love that.
It
Like,
sums up
anybody
my
have
life
any
at
idea?
25,
There's no combined button on my dashboard.
That is every 20-something-year-old. I don't know how this is working, but it's working, so we're going to do it. It's
But I
great.
also like that it's realistic now. It's not like, hey, we did it. Now we can do it every single time now.
I totally agree because it's like at the end of the pilot they really only managed to accomplish it because like they really are in peril and there's no other way they're gonna win this fight. And so then
When they're told they have to form it again and again and again, they look like deer caught in the headlights.
No,
They're like,
Wait,
wait,
I
what?
thought we could go home. This isn't it?
I thought this was a one-time deal. One shot. Here we go.
Yeah, because they like don't really 100% understand how it works.
And also, they're teenagers.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
so we did it, right? It's like a job. Like I come in for school and then I leave.
They picked up their lives and went through a space wormhole, and now their entire world is different. Like school doesn't matter anymore.
Because the world will end, or sorry, the
They,
universe will
they
end.
are light years away from their families.
Yeah.
And even just that one line, I guess we're skipping class tomorrow. I'm like, that's really short-sighted.
Yeah.
But
And that's
at
a
the same
good
time, but
indicator.
that's their lives right
But
now.
that's also very teenage thinking, like, oh, we're just gonna skip
Yeah.
school tomorrow, big whoop, and then
Yeah.
you're like,
But I love it. You can tell when it's like, oh, stuff's serious now when they see the wormhole, because even Lance dials it back and goes, well, Shiro's the commanding officer. What do we do?
which is again,
like the bravado just stops and
It's
it's like,
well,
okay,
let's
now we're
serious
actually serious.
Yeah.
What do? What do?
Haywood Wong in the chat says Cree Summers Hagar is
Yes.
amazing.
And not to mention, like, this version of Zarkon, super scary.
oh my
Neil
god, thinking of my
Kaplan.
nightmares.
Other series. I was never scared of him.
No, but I'm legitimately terrified of him
Yeah.
in this. And Haywood Wong also
freaks me out.
wants to know if we like that Glenn from Walking Dead is Keith.
Steven
Ewan is so
Duh.
good.
He's
Oh
really
my
great.
God.
He was Avatar 1 in Legend of Korra, which was amazing.
yeah.
And I love him. And so, like, if any of you guys, like, know him and want to give him my phone number, like, that's fine.
So you
Guys,
can get him in
help.
studio, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in studio.
Purely professional reason.
Totally professional reason.
Professional adjacent.
Yep.
Put that and just put it in a box.
One
and you put that in a
detail
box and-
that we noticed, and I think you pointed it out actually when we were watching it again, was that after they realized, okay, it's been 10,000 years, my dad
That's-
made some really terrible decisions. The next thing was, it's Zarkon. There's no way
Yeah.
he's still alive. So living
Yeah.
for 10,000 years isn't something that really super happens out here.
So what are
Yeah.
we thinking? Like,
So-
is this actually Zarkon? Is it
Theories,
the sun? Is it
I
a clone?
have a theory, but it's something that we see in a later episode.
Yeah, that's why I'm.
I
I
mean,
feel like
you
that's
take
something we
one
can-
look at that scary witch, and
I was like,
that druid, she's what's keeping him alive.
No, that- immediately,
all
I was
of
like-
my money on that. She's always hovering right beside him,
All the
and
time.
she's scary as all get out.
She's like the
I
witch
love her,
in
though.
Robin Hood Prince of Thieves,
Yeah.
and I'm like fine with it.
I think she's great.
What I'm loving, and I'm just going with word choice here because between D&D and all the difference, just the terminology makes me happy. The difference between paladin and druid.
yeah.
As a class, as what they do, because I'm looking very much in D&D things because I've been watching a lot of Critical Role, you guys. It's very great. Your paladin is your extremely religion aligned, usually lawful or neutral good unless they're aligned to a god of vengeance.
Right.
Sort of, straight up and down, white knight. Usually some form of healer, heavy armor, some form of weaponry. Like, they're the person that you want in the front lines.
Yep.
Whereas a druid is extremely nature aligned, magic aligned, able to use animal transportation, able to transformations rather, able to use the elements, stuff like that. So it's two very different ends of a very similar spectrum. So I like seeing them placed against each other
it's
like
so
this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Renji says that Zarkon might just be a species that ages slowly. And NDT TV Clips theorizes, I think in this series, Zarkon was once human. Which could be
Yeah.
interesting.
Well,
Plot twist?
twist.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, wait.
When humans turn purple, they're usually dead.
Listen,
Throw that out there.
Listen, we know for a fact that like alien experimentation and like mutilation of human bodies is a thing that's happening in this universe.
Or
so.
he could just be a mix, maybe. Maybe he's like
knows?
half this and
Who
half
knows?
that. You never know.
Yep.
Speaking of, when the aliens do come marching in at the very beginning,
And
and
the aliens go marching in.
and the astronaut is like, oh man, my life's work would be complete. It's like
Yeah.
list of lifelong dreams, you're now half as long.
I feel like Sam Holt regrets those words a lot.
And
Dr. Samuel Holt made a mistake that day.
Well, the only other thing I want to point out is that I think it's entirely, and granted, this is definitely delving into like theory territory, but like I definitely feel like Shiro's escape was orchestrated.
I totally agree.
Ever since he showed up, I was like, "There's something. I don't know what's going on."
Because he's
Something
like,
happened.
it's
He's a
such
sleeper
you,
agent.
you said it.
yeah.
It's very convenient.
I was gonna say, I don't know that it's necessarily that like it was orchestrated like on Shiro's part,
Yeah.
but like
No.
it was definitely orchestrated on the part of the Galra. Like they let him escape for
yeah.
a reason.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
he's
and they-
a
and made it
sleeper
totally
agent.
think
He
that
has to
he
be.
did it all on his own, and he's like, "Oh my god, they found
well,
me." I'm
and
like,
he has, again, maybe it's just narrative
gotta have a
convenience, but the
tracker.
fact
Yep.
that he has
It's
very,
technology.
he has amnesia due to his PTSD.
Right.
Again, it's very convenient.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Can we talk a little bit about that? Can we talk about, well, you don't have a Bayard, it was lost. I'll make do. Yes. Yes, you
With
will.
your awesome robot arm.
Yeah.
And just how they framed all of that. It activated on its own. I love that audio trick where the audio goes out of focus.
Oh, that
and
was
you can
great.
still tell what's being said, but it's just like,
It's
no, we're going to
distorted, yeah.
emphasize the heartbeat and everything else is distorted. And you know there was just that moment where 5
Shiro's
seconds
not
later he's
there.
looking around going, what happened to the robots?
What's happening? Why does my hand feel weird?
How? What?
Well, and something we
like,
haven't.
cool.
I clicked into something there that I did not know I had.
And I love that he's being like the fact that he's. I mean, I would like to know more about this, but the fact that he was called the champion. and
Exactly.
Yes.
The
There's
prisoners
things-
are like, if there's anybody who can get us out of this situation, it's this guy.
like,
and it's like,
what did
so
you do? What
he
did you
doesn't
do?
remember, but he's made a name for himself
Yeah.
within not only the ranks of like the Galra, presumably, but definitely amongst the prisoners.
Snap, you guys.
What?
Renji points out that Shiro is gonna go all Winter Soldier. Like, we were making jokes about that
So
earlier.
he's completely Bucky.
I'm with you to the end of the line.
Oh my god, that's gonna be great. Sorry.
Yeah.
It just all clicked into my brain. I'm like, oh, those scenes are gonna be awesome.
Definitely saw someone do a comic where they met up. and
Oh,
it
I
was-
need someone to make that into a drawing and I put it up on my wall.
There's
It's
a
great.
comic. I'll find it and
Already,
send it to
please?
you.
I
It's
wanna
on
see it.
Tumblr. It's
And
so
Playful
funny.
Panthers follows that up like so sexy with longer hair.
Hey.
Into it.
I kind of like the military cut though. Not gonna lie.
I love all
I
that
like
little,
hair.
little poof in front.
I love the
Super
little
cute.
white poof.
Yeah,
I know.
it's awesome.
He
so
rocks it.
anime.
It does. It looks really good. I can't wait to see the cosplays of that.
They're already out there. There
I
were
haven't
some
seen them
really
yet.
good Voltron cosplay at Comic-Con actually. There
Yeah.
were
I
pictures
missed
going
all of them
around.
while we were running
I saw. No, I pointed out that Keith and Lance to you. Remember?
Oh, that's right. We did see
in
that.
the press
yes,
lounge.
Yes, I did that. I was like, what? Yeah, I want a Shiro though.
Yeah, I did not make it to San Diego Comic-Con this year, so if anyone got
neither.
their
Crazy.
hands on the print that was at the panel.
Oh, I tried to look for it, but I wasn't there. I think on the day that they.
No.
Yeah, the
yeah.
panel was on. I was in Keystone, getting at
a Thursday.
a work conference.
Yeah.
And I'd met all these people, and we're gonna share Twitter, and we were tweeting about all the work stuff that we were doing. And then I started getting updates from the Voltron panel from my friends who were losing their minds. And then the trailer came out, and I'm just like, to everyone at this work convention who started following me on Twitter, thinking that I was a
apologize.
responsible adult.
Welcome.
I'm so sorry.
my world.
I hope you like Robot Lions. I hope you like Red versus Blue. I hope you like a lot of color
I can
coded
just imagine
media.
like your coworkers just be like, well, I wonder what's on the Twitter. Holy robots, what's happening? And
Holy
just
robots.
Like, it's just, yeah, it's just Katie. It's just like retweet. It's gonna be
It's
great.
like somebody is in agony and I don't know why. Voltron, didn't that come out like 30 years ago?
Weird.
It's like, no, I am in pain. I think this is what pain feels like.
I have to agree with Beast Wars fan. Shiro, are you not entertained? I love it so much.
And again, it's a little too early to make that joke, but it's
Waiting for the Photoshop though.
Yeah, no,
Waiting
I
for the
want to
Photoshop.
see it so bad,
Yeah.
guys.
Okay,
So
can
guys,
we get a note
get
on how
on
much?
that.
Can we get a note on how much time we still have? I'd like to know how much we can still go. For our wonderful person in the booth, who is a lovely human being. Yeah, is there any other character moments? Any other? Because this was an hour and some change.
Yeah, it
you
was.
guys.
It was a good amount of time.
Okay.
I liked seeing that. I love Pidge when she as he's getting in the boat and with Slot.
You were
I'm sorry,
so
it's
angry.
bad.
You tried.
And I love how he's just rambling about like, I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if the line's gonna accept me. What am I supposed to do after that? And then
I
you
always
just see
wanted
this
to be a
all just
pilot. I mean, I read all the manuals, but I've never been a pilot before. What if my feet don't reach the pedals? What if there aren't pedals?
Yeah,
That was-
I love that. That was just kind
that
of
was a
realistic for
spectacular
any person
moment.
I know who I call fun size. Is just like I can't reach the pedals to whatever
Yeah.
they're doing for like a ride or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just-
No,
don't know.
I always have to scooch my car chair
Yeah.
forward
Forward,
so
yeah.
much for my tiny little
I
legs.
really
love
liked
the- ahead.
that when Alora and Corinne were introduced, that like instead of being like, we're just gonna tell you about what happened, we just like went straight full on flashback to like what went down 1,000 years ago.
And
what-
someone on
yeah.
Tumblr pointed out, taking a look at King Alfor's armor,
Whoa.
yellow accents.
Yeah.
He was probably the yellow paladin.
Probably
Yeah,
was.
probably
He probably
was.
was. And I
And
liked,
he made Voltron.
yeah.
So.
Well, and I like too that that King Alcor was not like, it's one of the things I always love so much seeing in shows that are perhaps technically aimed at kids is when you have adults making bad choices.
Yes. And they're
He's
spending forever making up for his terrible decision. And as an AI, he had 10,000 years to think about it.
Yeah, he sat there and went, I thought that being cautious and trying to keep Voltron out of his hands was the best way to go about it. I was wrong.
I made a mistake.
I was wrong. I should have stood my ground. I should have fought. You were right. And so I like, not only is it like really big of a show to like take that stance to be like this guy without villainizing him either. Because I feel like if you're showing adults making bad decisions, they're either portrayed as very dumb or like straight up bad.
And he is a good, smart, capable person who just made a call that he thought was the right call, and it was not the right call.
Which again,
and that happens
as adults,
to
we do that
everyone.
all the not do it all the time, but it does happen.
And he has a very kind demeanor, so if he is the Yellow Paladin,
makes
that
so much
then
sense.
fits in perfectly.
NDT TV clips in the chat also brings up another really good moment wherein Keith got ejected from the Galra ship, and then like that was the moment where like the Red Lion.
He had to
You
earn
have
it.
to do a dumb.
Seriously, he had to be floated into space to get his respect.
Good kitty.
I love good kitty.
I literally lost my mind.
Shoot me. Oh my God,
I was
Keith,
like,
you idiot. I love him, you idiot.
I got chills.
But
I
I
was like,
love
stop.
that when he got shot into space, we got the framing and we just got the close-up of his helmet and him being like,
It went
I'm
all,
gonna die
it went all
here.
gravity for a minute.
It does. The eyes
But
going
then we
back
got
and
to see
forth.
the reflection of the lion in the helmet coming for him,
Yeah,
and
they
it
could
was
have done that
just.
shot in any way, but I love that we got to see through his technical
Our-
eyes.
I want to see like the storyboards or the animatics for that one. I want to see
Art
that.
direction for this series is just
It's
so
spectacular.
dang
Yeah,
good.
it's really good.
Are Netflix series eligible for daytime Emmys?
Can we give
Because
them
I
one?
feel like
Yes, I believe so.
Because I feel like we need to throw this one at them
gonna say-
wholesale and be like, storyboarding, artist, direction,
House of Cards
everything.
gets nominated
Made
for
all-
regular Emmys.
Yeah, so I mean, you
Oh,
never
that's
know.
true. Yeah. Orange is the New Black as well.
Yeah, so there you go.
Okay, yeah, no, let's push for that. This is amazing.
Yeah.
The going off of Pidge freaking out, I love the follow-up to that. And
Oh, yeah.
Shiro basically giving Pidge's father's words back to him.
Whoa! I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, that was
If
crazy.
you get too worried about what could go wrong, you might miss a chance to do something great. And you can see the moment in Pidge of like, oh, I've heard that before.
it made my
Yeah,
heart
no one
all kinds of
knows.
And I
swells.
really love that, like, they're already establishing that these two are connected before we get the reveal that, Pidge, it's Pidge's brother and father that have gone missing.
Yeah.
And so, like, I like that we have the two of them together for a little bit because ever since Shiro was introduced, Pidge is like, where's the rest of the
Like,
crew?
and
Where's the rest
I
of the
didn't
crew?
even realize
If I'm
how
going to
many
find
times-
answers, it's by sticking to this guy.
Yeah, which I didn't even realize until watching it the fourth time that he that Pidge is just saying it over and over and over. And I when I first watched it, didn't even register in my brain. I was just like, wow, you do say that a lot in this entire hour and 8 minutes. That's nuts.
Priorities, right?
No, I mean, but it makes sense. I mean, if my brother and my father were missing, I'd be like every day.
Well,
and
and
this is the only connection
Well,
right here.
so much so that Pidge created technology to scan for alien chatter.
Yep.
Because how?
because Pidge, I
because
don't even know.
Pidge,
Yeah.
Just
Pidge
determination all the way.
Pidge runs into a tiny flying drone, hits it, and then goes, I can reprogram this. Boop! Your name is Rover.
Your name is
God
Robert
bless.
You serve me.
Yeah. And God bless this
all
incredible
the time.
human being that's just like, and that one.
I think that's just also an example of like why this show is so strong, because you do have this very diverse, interesting cast that all has very different personalities. It's like one of the things that I've often said about like Sailor Moon is that like Sailor Venus is my favorite character, but only narrowly. And that's very much how I feel about this series as well, because you are given this very complicated, interesting group of people. And so it's like all of them are great.
Yeah, no, they're wonderful. And and again, for looking back at least in my mind, the original series, I only remember the two-dimensional personalities, 1, 2, and like 3.
Right.
And
This is
everybody
the
else
tech
sort of
person.
like
That's the
faded into the
mechanic.
background. And like all of these characters all of these characters are super memorable
Yeah.
without
Yes.
being stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
And
agree.
yet they've all got the nuance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I love that we have what would ostensibly be, oh, there's one person that does machines, the Donatello of the group.
Yeah.
And instead we have the tech person
Right.
Yeah.
and the engineer
Yeah.
that are two very different skill sets
Exactly.
with some Venn diagram
Right.
overlap, but
Yeah.
definitely
It's
not
just
the whole
more-
thing.
it's more
Definitely
defined.
one of them with boundary issues. For
Oh
sure.
my god.
Oh man, that whole scene was fantastic. It was just like smack. I don't know, but
Well, and just the whole I was going through his backpack, and then I was reading his diary, and
I
Peach is
know.
just like, excuse you.
Yeah, I have to wonder what Hunk's background is. Is like he either came from a big family where like there
That's-
were no
no,
boundaries
yeah.
and like everything like that.
That is definitely my first inclination.
Yeah.
Or
Same
he was
here.
an only child that doesn't understand that siblings
that
need
could
to
also
stay.
be a good that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
think either theory is valid.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and this is getting to end of the series, but
Yeah.
we know nothing about
Nope.
these characters.
Okay, that's the one thing that I love about the show, but man, it is so
It's
frustrating.
infuriating.
Yeah,
It is.
I don't like it.
It is, but it also is a testament to how like compelling these characters are just based on their
Exactly.
personalities and skill sets. That like you want to know more about them, but you care about them even not really knowing the whole backstory. And I think that ultimately, like, we're gonna get more of that.
Yeah.
These are very smart writers
Yeah, of
working on
course.
this show.
We are all 10,000% in for the, and I think
I
it's
just want it
interesting
now.
that
Now.
the first time you watch the series, you're like, oh, okay, we're in for the ride. It's great, it's wonderful, and it's only after you stop, after this first season is over, and you kind of sit back and think about it, that you go, we have no idea.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it took me a minute.
We
I was
get
like,
Hidge's family life with that confession about, that was my father and brother,
Yep.
but there's a going theory that Lance is from a huge family. We don't know. It makes sense.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know anything about Hunk. We don't know how Shiro and Keith know each other, and that's a big deal.
yeah, because the initial Keith looking at Shiro on the hospital bed table thing was just like
The gurney.
Yeah, thank you. It was just like you saw the sparkly anime eyes, and I'm like, something's happening. I
I
don't know what it is.
I saw someone subtitle that as, "Oh, he's hot." You're not wrong.
This one is like heavy breathing. It's like,
Talk about the space Nigel Thornberry.
yeah.
smashing.
But like even though we don't know a whole lot about their backstories, they leave such a strong impression on
Yeah,
us that
they do.
we didn't notice.
You know what we forgot to talk about?
What did we
Our
forget to talk
beautiful
about?
mice.
Oh,
Come on, we gotta talk about it. I like
I
Angry
did
Mice.
psychic
is my
mice.
Angry
Oh
Mouse
my
is my
God.
favorite. Yes.
I also loved when Alora was like, "Oh, I guess because we've been in these stasis pods with them for so long, like now we're able to communicate with them psychically." And Corinne's just like, he's like, "I'm trying to get them to make me a sandwich."
I also love, well, finger counting, it's more of an art than a
Not a
science.
And I'm like, what? So good. Corinne, what are you
And
doing?
again, when Coran has those moments of, well, not moments of competence, he is pretty dang competent. But when he has those moments of, no, I am a serious character,
No.
and no, there's depth to me, you don't sit there and go, oh, my depth is pasted on. You're like,
Yeah, he's my Colonel Armstrong from FMA. That's exactly who he is to me. Just minusing all the sparklies, but like,
oh my God.
definitely the mustache.
yeah,
for
definitely
sure.
the mustache. I mean, not as many muscles as I would like, but he's just. We all know that Armstrong in FMA was. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's Full Metal Alchemist. Is that Armstrong was this comic relief, but when something was happening, you knew that you can count on.
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
exactly.
He's a serious character.
And with again, some of the funniest lines in this episode came from him, and I can't help but wonder. I was like, did they let him improv because
I hope
he
because
is
Reese is awesome.
hysterical?
So-
yeah, no, he's my.
So I feel like probably yes.
Yeah.
I feel like there were like the little kung fu moment. I'm sure it was just like makes fighting noises like, oh, I can do that.
I could totally do that. I think that whole little scene between him and Lance was just ad-libbed. I don't think that was even like in the script. It was just like, make fight noises, and they just kind of went at it. It's adorable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The series is just awesome, and I need more episodes.
Yeah.
For sure. And we're only talking about the pilot.
And I'm just so excited that we get to sit down
Yeah,
and
and
talk
talk
about
about it because there's a lot to talk about. It's a great show. It's really fun.
it. A lot of layers.
Yeah.
Like onions.
It's
complicated.
delicious.
I think in one way or another, we hit pretty much all of the big plot
I
points.
agree. I agree.
The only issue I have is, boy, I hope there weren't more prisoners on that Colorado ship.
Okay, thank you. Because I was sitting there going, so we're not going to check the other base? No? Bueller? Fine. All right, cool. I guess we'll just move on.
We'll watch the whole tour on that ship.
I mean,
Yeah, and I know that is
it was a perilous time that was happening.
But that's a turn that I'm like 90% certain the series will not take, given the tone it's adopted. I don't think it will go as dark. I don't think it will go as dark as your family was alive, but they were on a ship that Voltron blew up.
Oh my god.
I don't think we're gonna go there because that's when you start breaking characters and you cannot come back from that.
Katie, if
that is when you go full Walking Dead, and this is not a Walking
Yeun
Dead
is in
kind
this
of
show.
That doesn't mean anything.
If that happens, Katie, I don't know if I can get through the rest of the season. I will be in the corner of that couch just being like, man.
I guess it's a fun notion to entertain in the sort of,
Someone
boy,
needs to
I
make
hope there
this
weren't
into,
more
like-
prisoners. But I do not think they'll go there because that is too dark for what they've established.
I don't know. Legend of Korra got real dark.
I like
know,
that.
but especially if they're still trying to catch the 8 to 15 demographic thereabouts, that's a little dark for 15-year-olds.
DreamWorks, please don't
Is
take
it, I
my
was like,
heartstrings
is it
and
dark
my
or
brain.
is it realistic?
They're lions that combine into a giant robot. Would you like to make the realistic argument again?
I feel like within this universe, that's very plausible. So,
Oh my god, I can't, guys. I can't.
anyway,
I don't know. People lost their heads in Korra.
people-
So.
I'm just waiting for the the minute delay for that to hit chat and see what they have
everybody
to
is
say.
like,
You
that
monster.
that would be dark and awesome. Beast Wars fans is just dark.
Dark.
You're giving them ideas. Stop it. Katie sounds like she's writing for Arrow. I would rather have that.
yeah.
That would be awesome. Oh my god, can you imagine?
I think chat just broke Katie.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the fact.
Oh
the
my
conflict with the
God,
Arrow.
you're right.
Oh.
Arrow would do
Yeah,
it.
that actually
Yeah.
is a valid point. as you were saying,
Yeah,
Alexis.
for playful Panthers. I was actually talking about this with my boyfriend actually while we were rewatching the pilot together. It was interesting how languages, you know what I mean? Because obviously for us we need it to be in English. We all know
Right,
that.
yeah, exactly.
But before we start rapping, I just wanted to, he said we didn't talk about the fact of just coming into contact with aliens. How does everybody know their languages?
Wibbly wobbly, tell me what. I assumed it was
Yeah,
TARDIS
I
magic.
just kind of went
Doctor
with
Who
magic,
today was
literal magic.
animation, cartoons,
Psychic
children.
paper. Explains it all the way.
Convenience, yeah.
Well, you know,
I would-
magic technology that is universal translation.
Yeah.
Done.
you go.
Like
Yeah.
the TARDIS. The
But-
TARDIS
Like the
does
TARDIS,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, it is something that never got an official explanation, so
Yeah.
it's worth pointing
But
out.
I
It
do
is
like
worth
the fact
pointing
that we
out,
can
yeah.
actually see the language on their consoles and computers and things like that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
it's
would've
cool.
liked
You
to
get
Because we
to see-
understand it doesn't mean I can read
You get
that.
to see
No,
alien
no.
languages like written out all
Yeah,
over like
Exactly.
consoles and things like that.
I would like to hear what Altean
Yeah.
actually sounds like though. At least
Yeah.
at one point.
Yep.
But I know that that's just something I wanted to bring up because I thought it was awesome.
Okay, so I think we have a couple of little gossip points that we should hit because we did have San Diego Comic-Con this past
Yes.
weekend.
Real quick.
Right?
Yeah.
AfterBuzz TV News.
And we had a full-on Voltron panel. The big news is that Season 2 was confirmed to be released sometime later this year. We don't know when. And I wish that I had saved this because I don't remember where I read it, but I'd heard that it was 2 of 4.
Good chill.
Ah.
And I am uncertain
I'll
if that
take
is
that.
the case. If anyone can find me a link, an article, a something, because I'm sure I read that somewhere, but hell if I can remember where. We did get a trailer. We will not be talking about that until the very last after show because that's predictions territory, and we've seen it all, so predictions territory is
Yeah.
kind of useless.
Yep.
Did we have any other gossip?
Not that I know of off the
Nope.
top of my head.
I feel like that was the big
That was a
thing
big
right
thing.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the trailer, you should go. You should
Yeah.
find
What?
it.
Finish watching the series.
Yeah, finish
and
watching
then
the
go.
series.
Watch
and then
it.
go.
Yeah, don't watch it right now if you haven't finished it.
Because
yet.
otherwise you watch the trailer, you're like,
like,
what? What?
I don't
Don't
understand.
do that to yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we spoke briefly about iTunes at the beginning, but again, find us, rate us, like, comment, subscribe. 5 stars if you love us. We certainly hope that you do. And if you leave a review, we will read it on the air. Obviously, we don't have any right now, but next week, same lion time, same lion channel.
Heck yeah.
Do it.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Emma, where can the people find you?
On the internet, I'm there all the time, guys. I'm at Emma Fyffe on Twitter. I'm at Emma Fyffe on Instagram. You can hear me on my Sailor Moon podcast, Love and Justice, a serious Sailor Moon podcast. You can find it in the iTunes store. And you can also see me on the Steven Universe After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. That is Monday nights at 10 p.m. Pacific.
I'm Alexis Torres. You can find me at atorres890. I will be starting another Netflix original series, I guess, which is Sense8. They have season 2 that's coming out August 8th, and I will be leading that one. I will be the Black Lion on that. They won't know that, but it's okay. I will know. You guys should check that out. That's also on Thursdays, actually, right before Voltron. So check it out and let's hang out. Also, check out my YouTube channel. I will be doing stuff. I'm actually doing a review about The Killing Joke that just came out, which is a lot of controversy. So watch it. It'll be on this weekend for sure.
Yup. Controversy is very synonymous with The Killing Joke.
Yep.
I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I am also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for The Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I'm also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. YouTube is mostly reaction videos, so if you want to see my face when my heart breaks, that is how you do that. That is where you do the thing. I'm also on the Steven Universe After Show. That is Mondays at 10 p.m. You already said this. It's the spiel. And on multiple Rooster Teeth after shows that are at multiple different times of the day and month, because what's a consistent airing schedule?
No, I don't know what it is.
All right.
Nah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you all here next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
I'm bonding with you!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.